All right, what up, YouTube?
What up, YouTube?
Mr. Booth in the booth
With Trent.
Why do you, whenever you go to say your name, you go, Trent? Like you're all sad and shit.
I'm sad this week. We had the biggest upset in college football history.
Biggest upset? What?
You didn't even watch the game?
Vandy beat Alabama this year. You're fucking
No, this
saying
is
that?
college football history. History, not just this year. History.
Yeah, that was the biggest in history. That's what everybody talks about. All right, going into week 9. We're going into week 9?
Yeah.
This shit is going by too fast. Week 9, our updated SEC power rankings. It's going to be wild, I got a feeling, because you could go anywhere with this. You could make statements for 4 or 5 different teams to be number 1 right now, I think. So, we're going to get right into it. I have not updated the helmets yet, so I'll do that after this video. So if you see the helmets, you're like, oh, that's not in order from what you said. Mind your business. I ain't got there yet. Right. Alright. At number 16 on my list. Is this kind of like getting annoying?
What? No,
It's the same shit every fucking
yeah, dude,
week.
I fucking...
Mississippi State.
I hate from 16 to 10, I hate. It's like all the same teams. They might flip-flop every once in a while, but like, it's, I got...
I think Mississippi State is starting to look better offensively. Defensive side of the ball still has things they need to fix. I mean, they're letting whoever they play throw 30, 40, 50 points on the board and beat them. Still losing games. Lost another game to Texas A&M this weekend. So they're still at the very bottom of my list.
I didn't watch that game, but like every time I checked on it, it was like a one-score game, dude. That's kind of close.
I think Texas A&M ended up winning about 10.
I got Mississippi State at 16.
At number 15, I've got Auburn. They keep shooting themselves in the foot. They go up in points going into the fourth quarter and find a way to lose every time. They had Mizzou beat. I watched the whole game. They had them beat, let them come back in the fourth, and beat them in Columbia. Still no wins in the SEC. Auburn is still winless in the SEC.
Number 15, I got Auburn. Actually, I moved that one around because I did have the Gators.
We got to get through the trash first.
15.
So bad. At 14, I have Kentucky. Kentucky's been a weird team this year. You know, they've played really good teams hard, but then lose to easier teams that they shouldn't lose to. Like, they should have put up if they was going to lose to Florida the whole time, they should have put up a better fight. They had a chance. They've had Florida's number the last 4 or 5 years. They've won a lot of those matchups in Lexington and Gainesville, but couldn't do it this week. Another loss, so I've got them at 14. They've got some stuff they got to work on offensively. Defense looks solid, but 14, Kentucky.
14, I've also got Kentucky.
Damn,
3 for 3 right now, boy.
That's good stuff. At 13, I've got Oklahoma. I don't think this is entirely their fault. They've got, whenever they first started, they look good, but they've gotten so many players hurt, and they just don't have the depth to keep up in the SEC right now. They're 1-3 in the SEC. And to compete in these big games that you play in the SEC, like South Carolina coming to you, I know South Carolina's not some world-renowned program, but, I mean, they can thump that head if you're not ready. Oklahoma had a bunch of players hurt. They don't have the depth to keep up with a team like South Carolina, and they got that head thump. They could not do nothing. Oklahoma could not do anything offensively. South Carolina just completely shut them down from the start to the finish.
13, I've got the Gators.
Oh, we finally got a different one here.
Yeah. They're still horrible. They beat Kentucky. Good job, whatever. It's still horrible.
Not that impressive this year. At 12, I've got Florida. They're stuck, kind of floating in the back of the SEC right now. You know, you might move them up just a little bit. You might move them back just a little bit. They beat Kentucky, but they've got some tough games coming up. I mean, A lot of those teams you see in the top 6 up there, they got a bunch of them. They play Ole Miss, they play Texas, they play Georgia. They've got a tough schedule coming up. So 12, I've got the Gators.
12, I've got Oklahoma. We had the first 3 in a row, and then we swapped the 13 and 12. But yeah, I think they've been going downhill ever since Tennessee.
Yeah, they're just, I don't know, man. I don't think they was ready. At 11, I've got South Carolina, 2 and 3 in the SEC. Played 4 quarters of football finally. I mean, they played every quarter of that game. Their defense didn't go into give up mode after they went up, like we've seen them do against LSU, and they just dominated all around in Norman. Look good, look real good. Good win for the Cox.
11, I've got Mizzou. They
Goddamn.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna listen. Just because they win games, I'm not gonna bring them up. Like,
It's your ranking, bro.
first of all,
I was like, I had to relook at mine. I was like, where the fuck I got them at? Damn.
They got thumped first half by Auburn. Like, fuck, they got messed up. Really, they should have lost that game. And they just somehow, like, Boston College should have beat them.
If you're at any
I
point
think
losing
Vandy should have beat them.
to Boston College or Auburn, you've got a problem.
Vandy, they went into 2 overtimes with. I mean, Vandy ain't horrible this year, but still, I don't think Missouri's a team that I don't know why. What are they right now? They're in the 20s now, I think.
Missouri?
Yeah, they're
No, I think they're still in the
21st.
teens.
I
I
thought they
think
were
they're like
21st.
18th. It ain't gonna matter.
Anyway,
I think they
I
play
got them.
Bama next.
Yeah, I've got them at 11.
At 10, I've got Arkansas. Arkansas got hot for a couple weeks, but took a bad beating this week at home versus LSU. Still made my top 10 this week. Sam Pittman needs to win some more games to not have to worry about his job. Arkansas looked like they were going on the right track. A lot of people picked them to win that game, and they got their head thumped bad. LSU just beat the brakes off of them the whole game.
10, I've got Arkansas.
Damn.
I knew that LSU was going to go in there and beat them because I think LSU is a little bit made out to be worse than they are. I think they're a pretty good football team this year. So I kind of knew that was going to happen.
Did you expect it to be that bad, though?
Not necessarily that bad.
The spread was like 4. I think they beat them by like 20-something.
I was thinking in the 7 to 10 point range. But
I thought it was at
knew
least going to be
happen.
close. I mean, a toss-up maybe, touchdown, whoever scores last wins. No, that was not the case. At my 9, I've got Ole Miss. They haven't played a lot of conference games yet. They had a bye week last week, so 9 just felt right. I think they're tied with one other team for the least conference play so far. I don't know. We'll just see what happens. Why'd you laugh? Was that too high, too low?
No. I had them there, but
thought you
I
were making
actually
fun of me.
I had them there, but I switched them.
Oh, really?
But right last second, I switched them. But 9, I've got South Carolina. Not the greatest football team, but they can still play some good ball. Flat 9's a good ranking.
At 8, I've got Missouri. Don't look good against any competition. Barely scraped by a horrible Auburn team who is currently winless in the SEC, but they're still winning ball games. You know, I've put them way out of the top 10. I've brought them back in the top 10 a little bit. They're still ranked on the AP poll, but they do have to play Bama this week, I'm pretty sure. So, we'll see what happens.
8, I've got Ole Miss. I think them and Missouri are the 2 biggest exposed teams this year. I think Ole Miss is horrible.
Who's worse, though?
Oh, Missouri by far.
Okay.
Missouri's horrible.
I was making sure we agreed there.
No, Missouri's horrible. Missouri really. I'm kind of, 12's kind of generous. I think the Gators would beat them. I think Kentucky would beat them. I don't think Auburn and Mississippi State would, but yeah, they're one of the biggest exposed. I'd say the biggest exposed in college football this year. And then,
Missouri?
yeah, and then Ole Miss right behind them because everybody had Ole Miss in the top 5, 6 in the beginning of the year, and they're
Shit, we did.
yeah. That's what I'm saying.
And
Like,
then we learned
everybody.
they don't have a defense.
Yeah.
At my 7, Vanderbilt.
Really?
Undefeated at home, ranked on the AP poll after beating Ball State. Look out, Longhorns. You're going to a Commodore Stadium that's undefeated this year. You never know, man. They beat Alabama, but yeah.
Number 7.
7, I've got Vanderbilt.
I've got another really, really exposed team, but most people, usually they're going to be really good this season, ain't nothing going to change, or they're going to be horrible this season because everything's going to change. And that's Alabama. Some people thought new head coach was going to not win hardly no games. Some people thought they were still going to be just as good as Nick Saban. I think they're kind of in the middle. They're not the worst, but they're also definitely not nowhere near Nick Saban. I got them at 7. I think they're not too good this year.
So I'm close to you. I got them at 6. 6, I've got Alabama. Took their second conference loss this weekend to the Volunteers. We've got a lot of okay teams with close records. So I think when we get a little bit further into the season, these rankings will be easier. You got a lot of 6-1 teams right now. Tennessee, Alabama's not 6-1 anymore.
Yeah, but see, it's just easy. Like, if you just look at how they play, like, I mean,
I know, but it's so controversial because you've got 2 teams that's got 2 bad losses, but they're undefeated in the SEC.
Obviously, like, what's Tennessee 6-1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Texas is 6-1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Tennessee's not going to be ranked as high as Texas because, I mean, like,
on the AP poll, this is different. This is just personal SEC rankings. I'm just saying it's just so complicated because, like I said, you've got 2 teams that's undefeated in the SEC but got horrible losses right now, like A&M to Notre Dame, LSU to Southern Cal. Like, it's just, and then they're 6-1, but they're undefeated in the SEC.
I'm just saying it's kind of easy to rank because of how they play ball. If you watch them play ball, you can tell. Okay, this team ain't as good as this team. This team is, but they only lost.
Well, it's everybody's opinion.
All right, come on, man. What do you got next?
At 5.
I'm at 6. No, I'm at 6. I ain't
Yeah,
done my
you're
6 yet.
6.
At my 6, I have got the late, great, freshly ranked Vanderbilt Commodores.
So we're close. I had them at 7.
I'm actually really surprised with what they've done this season.
I think everybody is.
Yeah, no kidding. But
it's crazy.
I do think that they're gonna lose next week at home. But I think they're pretty good ball game. I mean, pretty good ball team.
Today, Junior. All right, at 5, I've got the Texas Longhorns.
Wow, how generous.
Took their first conference loss to an SEC team in Austin. Didn't look great, but didn't look horrible. Pretty tough stretch of games coming up. All SEC. So we'll just see how it plays out. I've got them at 5.
5, I've got Tennessee. They had them at 7 last week, so they obviously went up. I would say this is their first kind of test and their first all right win.
Nico has got to fix his passing.
Y'all did what Vanderbilt did. Y'all got Vanderbilt sloppy seconds. Y'all beat them. I think it was a good win for y'all. But I couldn't. I don't think I could put y'all up much higher than 5 just because, Bama also lost to Vandy. So what am I going to put Tennessee at 1, Vandy at 2?
I don't know. I wouldn't say that we did what Vandy did. I mean, we held them to the teens when Vandy let them put 35 on them. But,
Yeah, but Vandy put 40 up on them, and y'all put half of that. A little over half.
Defense wins ball games, bro. Offense sells tickets. Defense wins championships. At 4, I've got Tennessee. Big home win against Bama. Defense still looks great. Nico has got to fix. I mean, there was a couple plays he made some really good passes, but then there was also a couple plays where he looked like Joe Milton Jr. out there. I mean, what are we doing? Got to fix that. Got to fix that.
At 4, I've got Texas A&M.
Texas A&M.
I think they're a pretty good team this year, but I don't know. I feel like we've still got a little bit more to see out of them for me to put them a little bit higher. There's not much they can do. They can maybe get above my number 3 spot, but I don't know. They've gotten better since the beginning of the season. I'd say head to head, it'd be a pretty close game against Tennessee, but depends on which Tennessee shows up. Is it the Tennessee that plays Bama, or is it the Tennessee that played Arkansas? You know what I mean? That would decide the winner.
I don't think
me,
it's what Tennessee shows up. I think it's what Nico shows up because the rest of the team doing the same thing.
Yeah,
Defense playing lights out. It's
quarterback's
Nico.
the team. Quarterback is the membrane of the team.
Yeah. At my 3, I've got Georgia. Big win against the Longhorns on the road. But we've got 2 other teams in the conference undefeated in the SEC right now. So put them above Texas, left them out of the top 2. That's where I'm at with it right now.
I've got at 3, I've got LSU. I think Texas A&M could be a better team than them. I'm not too sure yet. I don't really look. I mean, the wins losses, sure. I mean, I ain't gonna have Mississippi State up here at number 4, but like, I don't look so much at losses. I look more at how well they played against good teams, bad teams, and things like that. That's why I've got LSU at 3.
I've got LSU at 2. Beat a decent Arkansas team at home. Beat them bad. Undefeated in conference play, and they're playing the team I've got at number 1. So should be interesting.
2, I've got Texas. Now, I feel like a lot of people are going to be like, well, they need to be 11, 12, 15 Georgia.
That's way too low.
I mean, God, well, Kentucky, they only lost Kentucky by 1 point. And they only beat Kentucky by 1 point, and they beat Texas by 15. Well, I mean, why Texas at 13? No,
I left
okay,
my top
because,
5.
listen.
I mean, Texas is still a good team.
I think Texas is, or as of right now, honestly, I'm not even going to say that. As of right now, I think they're the second best team in the SEC. I think that Quinn Ewers didn't show up, and I think Sark kind of fucked everybody over when he put Archie in. I don't know what he was thinking about that. I mean, I think that just messed up Quinn Ewers even more. And our defense is our run defense really is absolutely horrific, and that's why.
How many rushing yards did they have against y'all? I didn't even know.
I don't know, but I'm just saying that's.
It had to been a lot because they put up 30, and I don't think Beck threw 1 passing TD the whole game.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he did it. I don't remember. But we've got a horrible rushing defense, and I think
you know who's got a good rush offense?
Georgia?
Vanderbilt.
Well, I mean that's.
Are you worried, bro? You ought to be a little worried.
No, I think it's gonna be a high-scoring game, but I don't think it's gonna be just like Mississippi State. Mississippi State, literally, when we played them, they drew out exactly, printed on a piece of paper. Hey, other teams that Texas plays, this is exactly what you need to do. Because I mean, they're the worst team in the SEC, and they put up 13 on us. So I mean, they basically showed if you're a better team than us and you do exactly this right here, you'll probably do pretty good against Texas. And well, I think Georgia came in there and did it, and they that's why they won that.
Yeah, because they put up a lot of rush yards on y'all.
Yeah, I mean
I see what you're saying.
Like we just have a horrible rush defense, and then on top of that, Quinn Ewers wasn't playing good. I don't know what he was thinking, because I mean he's got places where he'll play like. He did in Oklahoma. That's a big stage. I mean, that's a Red River rivalry. A lot of people watching that. He played fine that game. He started out rough, threw an interception, but was fine the whole 3 quarters after that. But then he's got games like Washington last year and Georgia this year where he just freaks out and acts like he don't know what he's doing. So, I mean, I don't know. I think he might need to pop a Percocet before he goes out on the field or something because his nerves will be getting to him.
Pop perk in it. My 1, I've got Texas A&M. Think you could have put either team, whenever I'm talking about A&M or LSU, at 1 or 2. Both teams remain undefeated in the SEC. They play each other in College Station Saturday night. So I'd say the updated SEC power rankings next week will be completely different because one of those teams is going to have 2 losses in conference and out of conference loss after that's said and done. So we'll see where everybody ends up. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with my list, but it's just, man, it's hard. You've got the SEC is wide open with Texas losing to Georgia.
Oh, hang on, before you get to all this speeching, I got Georgia at 1, by the way. That's just my, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
They defeated the number 1 team in the nation.
I think anybody could have put them at 1. I could have put them at 1.
But now you can go back to what you're saying. And I got something to say.
The SEC is wide open right now. I mean, it is anybody's game. Even with Bama losing 2 games, they still got a chance. Texas lost to the number 1 team. They still are completely in it right now. Texas is completely in it. Tennessee.
We lost to the number 5 team. We were the number 1 team. But continue.
Are they not number 1 now?
Who?
Georgia.
No, Oregon is.
Oh.
Georgia's 2.
Well, number 1 team in the SEC, according to you. We'll just say that, right? I mean, you've got so many teams right now just with 1 loss or 2 not horrible losses. Maybe some are not as bad as others. Texas A&M, undefeated in the SEC. LSU, undefeated in the SEC. Tennessee sitting with one loss. Alabama sitting with 2. Texas sitting with 1. Georgia sitting with 1. I mean, it is wide open for so many teams right now. Missouri, I'm pretty sure, still just sitting at 1. I mean, we all know that they're not a good team, and Alabama's probably going to smoke that ass. But, I mean, it is wide open for so many teams, you know. I mean, your bottom feeders, 10 and back. What we got? Kentucky, South Carolina, Oklahoma, Florida, Auburn, Mississippi State. None of them teams have a chance. Probably even Arkansas. Now you probably count Arkansas out because they've got 2 losses. But I mean, it's anybody's ball game that wants it. Whoever wants it, whoever's the hungriest, these next couple of weeks can make the SEC championship and go on the playoff run. I mean, it's just whatever team stays the most put together.
Okay.
What do you think?
Now that being said, I just want to ask you this one thing because I mean. That does make sense. We've had a lot of upsets this year, but to me, this is what makes sense to me, and this is what I base my rankings off. I know you base yours off something different, but listen. So I had Georgia at Texas at 1 and 2. You had LSU and Texas A&M at 1 and 2. Don't matter which one. But to me, if say this happened next week, Georgia versus LSU, Texas versus Texas A&M. I don't see no way that LSU and Texas A&M are going to win both those games. And that's why I put Texas and Georgia above them.
Yeah, and I get that 100%. I was talking about that with some of my coworkers today, and it's really just whatever there's pros and cons to every team. There's ups and downs
I'm
to
way
every
away.
team. So it's whatever you think's the best. Do I think that Georgia would beat A&M and Texas would beat LSU and vice versa if they played the other? Yes, 100%. I think Texas could beat both those teams. I think Georgia could beat both those teams. But it's just hard for me not to put them at 1 and 2 because they're the only 2 teams undefeated in the SEC right now. Just give them flowers where flowers are due, and
I mean that's got them at 3 and 4. But
one of them teams is probably going to drop pretty low because they're playing each other this week. So I don't know, man. It's wide open. It's wide open. Anything can happen. It's anybody that wants it can have it right now. Put on your big boy pants and play some fucking ball.
If we lose to Vandy, bro. If we lose to Vandy, we just need some defense, bro. Like,
that ain't gonna be good.
If we lose to Vandy, we'll be so good.
That ain't gonna be good.
If we lose to Vandy, Vandy's gonna win the national championship. I'm calling.
I don't know about all that.
Yes, Vandy's will win out. If they beat us, they'll win out national championship.
This was Mr. Booth in the booth with Trent. Y'all have a good one.